welcome back to the watch. And people are stealing your content.
Well,
I guess
Sony kind of is.
Sony. Well, I think other people do it as well.
Well, yes, streaming services specifically. And I guess not only streaming services, but digital content providers.
Yeah.
Is that kind of?
I think it's very rarely for any library of content to actually stay in that library most of the time when it comes down to streaming.
So when it comes to streaming, what has already happened is that streaming services edit content.
Yes.
Specifically content that seems problematic for the modern day. Disney has done it with old school content, and even Netflix have removed entire episodes that they thought problematic. And this one enrages me. Do you guys watch or have watched Community?
No.
Community?
Of course, yes.
So it's one of the greatest comedies ever made. All right. So Tyranth, you don't know. There's an episode of Community where they play Dungeons and Dragons, and one of the characters role plays as a drow elf, and comes dressed as a drow elf.
Right.
He's Asian.
Right.
But he goes full.
Right.
But they even point out in the episode, right, that it's inappropriate. A character says, "Are we just going to ignore that open hate crime or something like that?" Right there, and he goes, "Excuse me, I'm a drow elf." Right. Netflix has removed that entire episode from Community, and that's one of the best episodes. And so, not only do you not get regular access to the content you might be after, something has happened with Sony specifically.
Well, okay, there's a bit of a larger discussion here because Sony is the current one under fire for this, but there was recently, I think it was this year, there was also another incident with Xbox. Now, they didn't remove anything, but it's all marching towards a digital future where you will own nothing and you'll be happy about it, where earlier this year, I think it was this year, basically the Xbox servers went off. And the reason why this was a big deal is because on one of the Xboxes, I can't remember, it's digital only. So people weren't able to play their own games because there was no phone home function. So people were very upset for like a full weekend that they weren't able to play the games that they had purchased legally. Now, Sony is currently under fire for not games specifically, but their multimedia usage, where they are removing things that you have paid for and that are in your library because they obviously don't have the license for it anymore or whatever it may be, whatever legal reason, they are removing your access to it, which is
I think criminal. But it'll be buried in the terms of service that you agreed to it, right? But the basic concept of spending money to receive a product, and then you should technically own that product. It seems like basic understanding, but in terms of digital media, this is getting flipped on its head. So with PlayStation, you could purchase, well, you assumed you were purchasing films and TV shows, and you couldn't purchase entire seasons.
Well, it's even games now. And like you will buy a game and that game is not on the disc or the cartridge. You have to do a digital download.
I mean, there's stuff as well with Nintendo shutting down the eShop with like DS and Wii. You can't play those games or access them anymore. Yeah. They're gone.
And to me, this is so scummy, right? But what's actually happening with digital media, you're not technically purchasing the product. You are purchasing access to the digital media via kind of servers online. And so what Disney done, they kind of lost the license to a whole heap of Discovery content. So this includes like Mythbusters and other types of shows, right? If you purchase this on the PlayStation Store, right, your hard-earned money, everything, now it's gone. You can't access it, even if you previously, that's it.
Yeah.
Just, you get robbed.
And it's one of those things where we've been marching to the digital future for a long time because ease of use and like ease of access, and I get it all. The issue is you don't own the rights to that digital data, right? Now, I don't have anything, I have no problems with the digital aspect. Like if you have a movie, right, and it's in digital form, but it's like just a VLC or a MP4 or something like that, you can do whatever you want with that. They can't take that. The problem is when it's on their shop, on their platform, on all these things that they have total 100% closed access to, that they can take whatever they want from you.
Yeah. And this technically, this threat kind of exists with Steam as well and other things, because if you get banned off of Steam,
you can't access your games.
You can't access your games. And it's like, hang on, if you purchased this product, you should be able to own it.
It's the same with like the Call of Duty games people have been banned from, and they can't access any of the in-game items they've bought. It's gone.
So this is a problem. And not only for the problems we've been explaining, there are other issues as well, which is basically caused me to re-embrace a classic kind of medium, an old medium.
It's sad that we call it classic and old, but it wasn't that long ago we were using them.
We're talking about physical media. You know, if you own the movie on DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever, you can't lose it if, like, you know, you get blocked off of a platform or licensing things, and they can't change it either from the state that you purchase it in. And so I had an interesting experience where I was watching Stargate SG-1, one of my favorite shows, and it was available on Stan at the time. And so I was enjoying going through the entire series. The problem was I didn't get to finish the entire series because you know what happened?
Where'd you get up to?
It left the streaming service, the time that they had on the thing, and then it didn't appear on any of other streaming services. And so you could fork out the money to sign up, but it's actually, I don't think it was available at the time on any service at all. And it's like, sometimes people sign up for streaming services to watch a specific show, but there's no guarantee that show's going to be there for the time that you want to watch it. And Stargate, like SG-1, is like, what, it goes up to 12 seasons almost? It's like huge. It's huge.
Yeah. What season did you get up to?
I think 7 or 8.
Okay, so after Daniel Jackson is back?
Yeah. And so...
I know exactly what he's talking about.
The thing is, though, you don't need to be locked into this because for the amount of money that you spend on streaming services, you're after a show, right? I've personally, I've come to an epiphany and a realization recently is that physical media is actually really affordable.
Yeah.
There's a box here.
Yes.
Depending on what type.
It depends, though, because if you want to buy stuff, because I have also embraced physical media for the last little while, and that's why I know that there's these issues with games specifically where you'll buy a cartridge or buy a disc or whatever, but the game's not on it, and you've got to download it online, so it just invalidates the whole point.
It's the newer stuff now that really starting to screw us over with.
Yes, but when it comes to DVDs and stuff, they are affordable, but if you want like the 4K Blu-ray stuff, they're a bit more expensive.
Well, see, there are some shows and movies that I would want the high quality 4K one, but others I actually don't want. Like DVDs, they're fine. I can perfectly happy with that. And so what I have here, right, is
oh, nice.
Look at this.
Oh,
this is Stargate SG-1, basically almost like the entire series up to like one of the later seasons, but it's not everything. You want to guess how much we got this on for?
$20?
$30.
That's good.
Like really good, right? Crazy good. And almost the entire DVD series, right? For $30. You need to know where to look, and I think these might be secondhand, but secondhand, like you can find really good quality available.
Well, me and Tyranth, we occasionally go op shop hunting, and the other month I bought all the Indiana Jones movies box set, perfect condition, for like $10.
And now it's available whenever I want. Yeah. Okay. And there is another side to physical media that I think is really important, especially in the current day, right? Is if there was a time when, kids wanted to watch stuff, it's like, all right, go to Netflix Kids or something like that. And then I'll come back and they're watching some random crap. And then I've tried to police what they watch. I was like, all right, it's a new show, you need to ask me first. Let me check it out, because there is some really weird stuff that gets put into kids' content, all right? And
specifically on YouTube. YouTube is like a problem for it.
Yes.
Something that I have seen children with is those drama channels where they basically just make up stories, and it's oh, their dad died, and the children eat that up because they don't realize that it's just it's not real. It's made up. Yeah. So YouTube kids content is like
actually yes, and the thing is, my kids actually do like watching YouTube, and then sometimes I'll come up, and because autoplays or whatever, they end up watching some of the most random crap, and I've had enough. Where as a parent, no, you legitimately need to actually be mindful of the type of media your kids can consume. For myself, the media I consumed as a kid actually had a really informative impact on my growing up. So I was so into superheroes, Superman, He-Man, Spider-Man. It had a really positive impact on me to be a better person. I wanted to be a superhero, so that literally made me, well, superheroes, they obey their parents. I gotta kind of obey my parents. And like I became a better person because of that. And as a result, I know how much of an impact it can have on kids. And I want my kids to have positive role models, right? Where is it in current day media? There's very little stuff. But the thing is, though, there is still great media out there, all the stuff that I grew up on, right? And so how then can you get your kids to watch it? You can restrict what they have access to. It's as simple as that. And so it got to a point where it's like, kids, we're getting off of all the streaming services. And me and my wife, we have heaps of DVDs and Blu-rays or whatever collected. We just pulled them all out, showed them all our kids, like, look at all these awesome movies. And guess what? We buy the ones that we like and that we approve of for our kids to watch. And they loved it. They're like, you've got this, there's this. And like, you've got the whole Dragon Ball Z series on disc. And they're like, yeah, I do. And they freaking love it. And so now we just, like, if you want to watch something, the classic, go to the DVD shelf, pick something you want. You can anything you want from this shelf. You pick, you put on, you can watch. And now they're experiencing the same thing I experienced growing up, is that you latch onto the ones that you love, and then you put them on repeat and you rewatch it, and you get to really appreciate some good quality media. And then you avoid the sludge. You avoid supporting streaming services that, in large measure, don't like people with more conservative, or traditional leaning views. And their whole attempt to inject, and they've been blatant about this, propaganda into media, right? Well, you could save your kids from that, but also, because I'm not talking about helicopter parenting where you don't let your kids be exposed to anything, okay? What you do as a parent is you watch them grow up, and when they're at the right age where you think they can understand the actual reality of what's happening, I sit them down and I teach my kids about the things in the world, all right? To know what the correct perspective is on them. And so then when they do come across it, they already know what the truth is and if something is being pushed as a lie or not. And that's how you prepare them going forward. And so physical media, it's the way to go. Embrace, I'm embracing it. It's not hard, like $30.
That's some streaming services for the month. That's
exactly. Like one fee usually for a single streaming service can buy you more content than you would consume in that month easy. And then you have it forever and you can go back to watch it whenever you want. It's available. Physical media, people. Get back into it. And they're trying to remove physical media.
Yeah. Well, didn't Disney stop selling DVDs now or something? The newer films, you can't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
At least in our country.
There's that. Isn't like Kmart removing, DVDs and stuff?
Yeah, something like.
Well, I might have been not have been Kmart, but one of the retail chains and everything. But it's still available, and there's still a lot of stuff that is still out there that I own from way back. Like we've got all of Star Trek and all these good movies and things, and get into it. That's the ultimate way to really stick it to these companies that hate you. Basically, is you get to curate what your kids watch by simply what you own. And then you own it forever and they can't rob it. They can't change it on you. They can't take away episodes. And you get the control. Any other thoughts?
And if you don't like physical stuff, it's inconvenient. Just get a server.
That's the other.
I've got it at home. Plex server. It's good. I just binge Star Wars on it.
All right, so I've done that, right? And I've had huge hard drives with lots of content. And then the hard drive dies.
That's why you
need to back it up. I know. I was a noob to it all, and I had no backups and everything, and so. But that is a viable option.
Because I will admit, when I first started doing DVDs again, and I had to get up to put in the next season, I was kind of like, I'm not a fan of this. I like the future where I can just press buttons. Because when I watch a whole season of a show and it's 10 p.m. at night, I do not want to get up and change the disc.
Are we really at a point in society where we can't get off our asses to change a disc?
Yes!
3 meters.
I've worked hard.
If our ancestors saw us complain about that, they would just die inside. Like, what has become of our
I am sure
children?
most ancestors, if they experienced our world for a month, they'd be like, you know what? pretty damn good. I'm okay with this.
I too don't want to walk 3 meters and change discs on a player.
Yep.
Oh, it's depressing because it might be true. What do you guys think?
Let us know in the comments. And until then, everyone, stay on watch.